'cause I know there is peace within your presence. I speak Jesus.
I just want to speak the name of Jesus till every dark addiction starts to break, declaring there is hope and there is freedom. I speak Jesus.
Your name is power. Your name is healing. Your name is life. Break every stronghold. Shine through the shadows. Burn like a fire.
I just want to speak the name of Jesus over fear and all anxiety, to every soul held captive by depression. I speak Jesus. Your name is power. Your name is healing. Your name is life. Break every stronghold. Shine through the shadows. Burn like a fire. Your name is power. Your name is healing. Your name is life. Break every stronghold. Shine through the shadows. Burn like a fire. Shout Jesus from the mountains, and Jesus in the streets, and Jesus in the darkness over every enemy, and Jesus for my family. I speak the holy name, Jesus. Oh, shout Jesus from the mountains, and Jesus in the streets, Jesus in the darkness over every enemy, Jesus for my family. I speak the holy name, Jesus, Jesus. Your name is power. Your name is healing. Your name is life. Break every stronghold. Shine through the shadows. Burn like a fire. Your name is power. Power. Your name is healing. Your name is life. Break every stronghold. Shine through the shadows. Burn like a fire. Shout Jesus from the mountains, and Jesus in the streets, Jesus in the darkness over every enemy, Jesus for my family. I speak the holy name, Jesus.
Amen. That is the Mount Pleasant Baptist Church Choir with the Swar family and Sailor Lucas singing lead with the theme song for our special series. That's entitled I Speak Jesus. Always a great job. Good evening and welcome to part number 23 in our special study on the subject of depression. We're calling this the Bible Truth on Depression. And yes, this is now part 23, as we're now in the final lap, I believe, in this special series. Tonight we're going to be taking a look at the Bible case of David. And this will probably be a 2 to 3, maybe 4 parts that will require covering the history of David and the case of David. And then we're going to begin wrapping this series up. I hope it has been a blessing and a help to you. And we just want to remind you that if you know anybody that could benefit from these series of lessons, whether it's the first part of the series, the first 10 lessons, which focused on the clinical aspect of depression, or the second part of the series, which is the Bible portion of the study, or all of it together, that you would forward them a link to whatever medium you're using to access these lessons yourself, whether it be off of our website at kjbstudy.com or whether it be through the numerous social media platforms that we're posting the lesson to. We would greatly appreciate it. We want to see people get saved if they're lost, and we want God's people to experience an alleviation of a burden and liberation from the bondage of depression, just like the song that we just heard said. Okay? Jesus is the answer. All right, so as I said, we're going to be talking about the Bible case of David here tonight. We're going to follow the same format as we have for all the previous Bible case studies on depression. We have our table here of sources, symptoms, and solutions, and we're going to be populating that table as we go along in our study. And my intention at this point, given as I've looked ahead to the amount of material we're covering on David, is after we give you his background information, which is pretty extensive, as you might suspect, David being one of the most prolific characters in the Bible. So it's going to be a pretty lengthy introduction giving his background story. That at that point, we're going to give you an update on where our table stands as far as how we've populated it up to date with our Bible case studies. And then we'll proceed into the second part of our study of David is going to be taking a look specifically at the Psalms. Now we'll cover some other scripture along the way as part of his background story, but we're going to cover the Psalms, David's Psalms in particular, as a standalone part of this study and continue to populate the table. Okay? So let's take a look at where we're at to date following the 4-part study of Job. Here's where we're at, and you can see that all of the items in yellow there were from Job. Some of them new, some of them were reiterations from previous case studies. But we're filling out the table, aren't we? Almost all the lines in all 3 columns are just about populated. Our source column is the least of the 3, but it's nearing about half full, which is amazing given that all we're doing is going through the Bible. Okay? So let's start in now on the history of David. If you have your Bible, turn to 1 Samuel chapter 16. We're going to begin there in our study. As far as scripture that we'll be looking at, and we'll be moving around pretty quickly, giving you this background information. And I've tried to consolidate a lot of the narrative. So the information that you're going to be seeing up on the screen in this first part of the study of David, we're going to limit that to scripture verses and actual identifications of sources, symptoms, or solutions. We're not going to put any other notations up on the screen just for the sake of time, okay? All right, so let's go to the Lord in prayer, and we'll jump right into this in 1 Samuel 16. Our kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you. Thank you for Jesus. And what would we do without him? We'd be lost. We'd have no hope. We thank you for the Lord Jesus Christ. And Father, we thank you for the opportunity we have to bring this next part of our special series on depression. This is now part 23. And as we begin to study the case of David, I pray that you would illuminate us to the truths that we need to know and apply to our lives here, Lord. We know there's somebody out there that needs this information, and we pray that you speak to their hearts and minister to them in the way that you see fit, that your word would not return void, but accomplish that which you please. We pray if there's anybody listening or watching that doesn't know Jesus as their Savior, that they would get saved. We pray that God's people would truly be liberated by the information that we give from the Scriptures tonight and throughout the series of these lessons, Lord, and that all the praise, honor, and glory go to you. In the name of Jesus, we ask this. Amen. All right, so David. We start off with David's genealogy. That is the logical place to start. And the reason we're starting there is because it absolutely contributed to the man that he became. And you'll see what I mean in just a moment as we go through this. David was the youngest of 8 sons of Jesse of Bethlehem. In 1 Samuel 16, verse 10 and 11, it says that Jesse had 7 sons that he had to pass before Samuel there when Samuel came to Bethlehem to anoint a king to replace Saul. And he called Jesse and all of his sons to the feast, to the sacrifice. And Jesse made 7 of his sons to pass before Samuel. But in verse 11, we're told that there remained yet the youngest. Well, who was that youngest? It was David. So David was not initially presented before Samuel. In 1 Samuel 17, verse 12 and 14, it says, Now David was the son of that Ephrathite of Bethlehem, Judah, whose name was Jesse. And he, referring to Jesse, had 8 sons. There it is. And the man went among men for an old man in the days of Saul. And David was the youngest. And the 3 eldest followed Saul. So the 3 eldest were obviously military age. They were 20 years of age or older. But David, it says here in 1 Samuel 17:14, was the youngest of Jesse's 8 sons. So Jesse had a total of 8 sons. Okay. He begat 7 of them. 7 of them. And 1 appears to have been adopted. So 7 sons were begotten by Jesse, including David. And there was 1 that appears to have been adopted. Okay, how do we know this? By comparing what is said about David's genealogy here in 1 Chronicles chapter 2. Verses 13 through 15, it says, And Jesse begat his firstborn Eliab. So begat, a very specific generative term. All right. You cannot say that an adopted son or a stepson is begotten by you. To be begotten is to be a direct descendant, somebody from your loins, your seed, as it were. So Jesse begat his firstborn Eliab, and Abinadab the second, and Shema the third. So those are the 3 oldest, as we read back in 1 Samuel 17, who followed Saul. They were military aged. Nethaneel the 4th, Radai the 5th, Ozem the 6th, David the 7th. You see that? So David's not the 7th oldest son. He's the youngest. He's of the 8, as we read in 1 Samuel 17:14. But he's the 7th and youngest of Jesse's begotten sons. So we don't know the name of the adopted son. That name doesn't appear to be given in Scripture. At least it's not clearly given. It might be in there and just not as readily apparent. But David also had 2 sisters. In 1 Chronicles 2, verses 16 and 17, we're given their names as Zeruiah and Abigail. It says in 1 Chronicles 2, verse 16, whose sisters, referring to David, were Zeruiah and Abigail. And the sons of Zeruiah of Abishai and Joab and Asahel, 3. And those 3 gentlemen, by the way, became captains in David's army, Joab becoming a general. And so they were leaders in David's army. And so it's obvious that the age difference, even though these three men were David's nephews, Abishai, Joab, and Asahel, there wasn't a huge age difference between them. We'll talk more about that in a minute. David's other sister, Abigail, it says in verse 17, bare Amasa. And the father of Amasa was Jether, the Ishmaelite. Now, Amasa is not mentioned in the historical books, in 1 Samuel there, until you get all the way to chapter 17. He's not mentioned. Actually, 2 Samuel. 2 Samuel 17. I said 1 Samuel 17. 2 Samuel 17, he's not mentioned. So probably a bit younger than the sons of Zeruiah, even though they were his first cousins. But nevertheless, Amasa also became a general in David's army following the end of Absalom's rebellion. And we'll see that further on in our study. Okay? Now, since Zeruiah's three sons, Abishai, Joab, and Asahel, served in David's army, as we said, and now we're going to take a look at 2 Samuel 2 and verse number 17 and 18. They all had to be at least 20 years old at the time. And at the time that is mentioned in 2 Samuel 2, verse 17 through 18, we're talking about 1056 BC, when David is probably about 30 years old. Okay? It says in 2 Samuel 2, verse 17, and there was a very sore battle that day, and Abner was beaten and the men of Israel before the servants of David. And who was fighting against Abner and the forces of Saul there, or the forces of Israel? And there were three sons of Zeruiah there, Joab and Abishai and Asahel. So there you have the three sons of David's sister Zeruiah. So what this means is that, as we alluded to just a while ago, is that these three sons of Zeruiah, David's nephews, couldn't have been any more than 10 years older than David. Again, we said that at this time they had to be at least 20 years old, all three of them. And David, as far as we know from Scripture at this time, is about 30 years old. So they couldn't have been more than 10 years younger than David. Now, Amasa, who also served in David's army, not mentioned until 2 Samuel 17:25 that we have up on the screen right now, where it says, and Absalom made Amasa captain of the host instead of Joab, which Amasa was a man's son whose name was Ithra, an Israelite, that went into Abigail, the daughter of Nahash, sister to Zeruiah, Joab's mother. So there appears to be somewhat of an age difference between these cousins, between Zeruiah's sons and her sister Abigail's sons. But there's far more important detailed information about David's genealogy here in 2 Samuel 17:25 that we need to unpack. Because we're told here that his sister Abigail, that her father's name was Nahash. See that in verse number 25? Abigail, the daughter of Nahash. So unless Nahash is another name for Jesse, and there are some Bible teachers and preachers who think it is, by the way. I don't agree with that, but there are some who believe that. I mean, it's just such a vastly different name, and there's no indication or implication anywhere else in the Bible that Jesse had another name, much less the name of Nahash. Okay? The name Nahash appears elsewhere in the Bible, and it refers to the king of the Ammonites, very interestingly enough. So you can make an equal argument, and frankly a more persuasive argument biblically, that this Nahash was the king of the Ammonites, rather than another name for Jesse. But it seems clear that Abigail had a different father than David did. That Nahash, whether it was the king of the Ammonites or wasn't, it's very unlikely that it's another name for Jesse. And that being the case, then Abigail, David's sister, had a different father than David did. For her to still be called David's sister, even though she had a different father, means that she and David had the same mother. Okay? But here's the thing. That mother is a different mother than David's 7 other brothers. That's right. The other 6 that Jesse begat, plus the one he adopted, they had different mothers than David did. Now, the name of David's mother is nowhere given in Scripture. Jewish tradition says that it was Nitzevet. That's spelled Nitzevet. Nitzevet. Okay? That's what tradition says. Now, Abigail, being specifically called sister to Zeruiah, here in 2 Samuel 17:25, and in the context also of being called the daughter of Nahash, that implies that Nahash was also Zeruiah's father. So I know that's a lot of information to digest. But again, looking there at 2 Samuel 17:25, the fact that Abigail's called the daughter of Nahash, but then specifically also said to be sister to Zeruiah, Joab's mother. It doesn't say sister to David. She was his sister, but a half-sister. So the fact it specifically says sister to Zeruiah right in the immediate context where we're led to believe that Abigail had a different father than David, namely Nahash, indicates to me that Abigail and Zeruiah are full sisters, meaning they have the same mother and the same father biologically. Okay? Wow. If so, then again, they are full sisters. David also implies this, by the way, in one of the Psalms that he wrote. In Psalm 69, verse 8, he refers to Abigail and Zeruiah as his mother's children, plural. Psalm 69, verse 8 says, I am become a stranger unto my brethren, and an alien unto my mother's children. A little bit more on that verse in just a moment. So what I believe we can conclude at this point in regard to David's family is that Abigail, like Zeruiah, was older than David. And that also means that David was the only biological child of Jesse and his mother, whom tradition calls Nitzevet. He's the only one. And so that means he has a different mother than his 7 brothers and a different father than his 2 sisters. He's an outsider, isn't he? He's all by himself. And looking again at Psalm 69:8, I am become a stranger unto my brethren. There's his 7 brothers. Why? Because he has a different biological mother than they do. And an alien unto my mother's children. Why? He has a different biological father than they do. Wow. So we don't know all the specifics. The Bible doesn't appear to provide that for us as to the history of Jesse and what happened here. But it's very feasible, very possible that Jesse's first wife, from whom the first 6 sons were begotten, and the 7th one being adopted, that first wife died. And she left Jesse with 7 young sons, 6 begotten and 1 adopted. And then Jesse remarried David's mother, and when he did, she already had 2 daughters from her previous marriage, namely with Nahash. Very, very possible, isn't it? Now, some believe that Jesse and Nitzevet, David's mother, conceived David out of wedlock. Where that idea comes from is from Psalm 51, verse 5, where David says, Behold, I was shapen in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. See that last expression there? In sin did my mother conceive me. Some take that to mean that David's mother got pregnant with him out of wedlock. And that is a very interesting theory, but there's one problem with that. David was quite beloved of the Lord, and at no point in David's life was there any talk about David being a bastard and therefore being excluded from being able to go into the congregation of the Lord, because that's exactly what the law would have required if he had been born out of wedlock or conceived out of wedlock. Deuteronomy 23 verse 2 says, "A bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to his 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of the Lord." So it's very clear that was not to be condoned. So David very gladly went into the presence of the Lord, didn't he, in the congregation of the Lord. So that theory, although interesting and appears to have scripture support, is to be rejected. The phrase, "In sin did my mother conceive me," refers to David himself. He's the one who's conceived in sin, which tells us that the sinful nature is not imparted at birth, it's imparted at conception. Okay? Now, getting back to David's mother, we mentioned her name's not given in Scripture, but David mentions her a number of times in the Bible. 1 Samuel 22:3, Psalm 22, verses 9 through 10, Psalm 27:10, the scripture we just mentioned there, quoted, Psalm 51:5, as well as Psalm 69:8, Psalm 71:6, Psalm 86:16, and Psalm 139:13. All mention David's mother, or David makes mention of his mother. But we don't learn anything else about her other than the following two things. Number one, from Psalm 86:16, where it says, "O turn unto me and have mercy upon me. Give thy strength unto thy servant, and save the son of thine handmaid." From that we can ascertain that David's mother was a godly woman. David refers to her, in his adult life, he refers to her as the handmaid of the Lord. So that's a woman who has subjected herself to serving the Lord. So she's the Lord's first in her life. And then in 1 Samuel 22:3, we learn that David's mother, as well as David's father Jesse, were alive when David first fled from Saul. Because here in 1 Samuel 22:3, in an effort to likely spare their lives from being taken hostage or actually being executed, because they were the parents of whom Saul perceived to be an insurrectionist and a usurper to the throne, an attempted usurper to the throne. David pleaded with the king of Moab to allow his father and mother to take refuge there. 1 Samuel 22, verse number 3, "And David went thence to Mizpeh of Moab, and he said unto the king of Moab, Let my father and my mother, I pray thee, come forth and be with you, till I know what God will do for me." So what's interesting about that passage of Scripture is that the traditionalists who hold that David's mother's name was, I almost said Mizpeh. It has that same sound. It's Nitzevet. Those who hold that her name was Nitzevet also believe that she died very early on. And 1 Samuel 22:3 would seem to refute that. She's alive as well as Jesse when David is fleeing from Saul for that first time. Okay? So what's the conclusion of the whole matter regarding David's ancestry and genealogy? It's clear that David's siblings did not look favorably upon him. In 1 Samuel 17:28, we see this as well. As David comes to the front lines of battle, as Israel's preparing to battle the Philistines, and Goliath, the giant, has already come forth and issued challenges against the armies of Israel. He's defying them and blaspheming God. David's come at the request of Jesse to bring supplies to his three brothers who are serving in Saul's army. And 1 Samuel 17:28, Eliab, David's eldest brother, heard when David spake unto the men. And it says, Eliab's anger was kindled against David. And he said, Why camest thou down hither? And with whom hast thou left those few sheep in the wilderness? I know thy pride and the naughtiness of thine heart, for thou art come down that thou mightest see the battle. So Eliab, and I don't think he was alone in this perception, this opinion of David, just did not think favorably of him at all. He was a runt and a scoundrel. And there is no indication from the Bible that David deserved such a thing. And I really do believe that David, being a type of Christ, Christ came unto his own, and his own received him not. They hated him without a cause. Not only that, Jesus was even rejected by his own brothers, wasn't he? His own brothers. He had 4 brothers and at least 2 sisters. So Mary had at least 6 other children. And these are Jesus' stepbrothers and stepsisters, half-brothers, half-sisters. And because, and I think that there was a degree of animosity there. There was obviously a significant delay in any of them believing that Jesus was someone special, namely the Messiah, which is amazing when you consider they grew up with him. They grew up in that house with Jesus being the eldest, and they undoubtedly had witnessed that he never said or did or thought anything wrong, and yet rejected him up until the time of the resurrection. An amazing thing. An amazing thing. So, and of course, Jesus being born of Mary when she was still a virgin. And I'm sure that the siblings knew this, but it's very possible they didn't believe it. And they may have believed that their mother and Joseph bore Jesus out of wedlock, or that Jesus wasn't Joseph's son. Okay? Yeah, they probably did not believe that Jesus was born begotten of the Holy Spirit while Mary was still a virgin. If Joseph was his biological father, as far as their belief is concerned, then Joseph and Mary conceived Jesus out of wedlock. And it's very possible that they also believed that their mother, Mary, conceived Jesus with another man, that she did commit adultery against Joseph when they were in their betrothal period. We don't know for certain, but it just appears that David's ancestry and his upbringing, his relationship with his 9 other siblings, is a picture and a type of what would happen years later with the Lord Jesus Christ. So that's David's ancestry. Now let's talk about his childhood and his adulthood, and start getting into some of the things that begin to make him the person he is and start contributing to him struggling with depression. The first thing we want to say is that David was the family shepherd. The responsibility of keeping the family sheep transferred from the older brother to the younger brother when the older brother came of an age where he could help the father with the heavier, more laborious tasks of the household, such as plowing, planting, things like that, taking care of the animals. So when that happened with whoever the 7th oldest son was, the responsibility of being the family shepherd passed on to David. And David being the youngest now, when the responsibility transferred to him, he's got it, right? He probably, at the time in 1 Samuel 16, where I've asked you to turn, he's probably been at it now for about 5 years as the family shepherd. And as the family shepherd, he spent a large portion of his childhood isolated from the rest of the family, out in the field, watching over the flocks. His time as the family shepherd, though, absolutely prepared him for a much greater work, just as being a shepherd prepared Moses for a greater work. While David shepherded the sheep, he grew very attached to them and regarded each one as precious. They were his sheep. He learned to provide for them and to protect them. And when he came before King Saul in the valley of Elah in 1 Samuel 17, David actually recalled 2 examples where he risked his own life to save the life of one of his lambs. And we see this here in 1 Samuel 17, verse 34 through 36 up on the screen. He confronted and killed a lion on one occasion and a bear on another. It says, "And David said unto Saul, Thy servant kept his father's sheep, and there came a lion and a bear and took a lamb out of the flock. And I went out after him and smote him and delivered it out of his mouth. And when he rose against me, I caught him by his beard and smote him and slew him. Thy servant slew both the lion and the bear." So yes, David recalls that experience. And even though he was just a youth at the time, David went after and fought against these beasts all by himself. Why? Because he cared for his sheep. He was willing to give his life for them. Once again, we see him as a type of the Lord Jesus Christ, the Good Shepherd in John 10, verse 11, who gives his life for the sheep. David demonstrated courage and faith in the face of fear, and he knew that the only reason he was able to kill that lion and kill that bear was because the Lord was with him. Look at verse 37. David said, "Moreover, the Lord that delivered me out of the paw of the lion and out of the paw of the bear, he will deliver me out of the hand of this Philistine." So David learned from that experience of confronting that lion and bear and killing them that he could overcome anything, including a giant, if the Lord was with him. If God be for us, who can be against us? Not only who can be against us, what can be against us? Apply that to depression, anxiety, any type of infirmity or trouble you're going through. If God is for you, and if you're saved, he's for you, then who or what can be against us? David's heart for the sheep as their shepherd carried over to the people of Israel when he became their king. And this, we'll see this comes full circle in his life. 2 Samuel 24:17. "And David spake unto the Lord," this is when 3 days of pestilence had come upon the land because David sinned in numbering the people. And 70,000 people died during this time. And David interceded for the people. It says, "He spake unto the Lord when he saw the angel that smote the people and said, Lo, I have sinned and I have done wickedly. But these sheep," not these people, these sheep, "what have they done? Let thine hand, I pray thee, be against me and against my father's house." So that's going to come full circle because that event right there, 2 Samuel 24, verse 17, takes place towards the end of David's life. Getting back to his childhood now. David didn't have any childhood friends that we're aware of, but the Lord was his friend. He spent a good amount of time each day talking to the Lord in prayer while he watched the sheep. We also know from Scripture that he was a musician, a very talented one. He could play a number of stringed instruments, namely the harp. We know that from 1 Samuel 16:23. So it's clear that he also spent a good amount of time writing and playing songs to the Lord, specifically psalms, which are prayers and praises put to song. So even as a teen, David was a man after God's own heart, Acts 13 and verse number 22. But then came the day that changed everything for David for the rest of his life. The day that Samuel was directed by God to go to Bethlehem and anoint the next king to replace Saul from the sons of Jesse. It was the first of 3 times that David would be anointed king. The others were when he officially became king, first over the tribe of Judah in 2 Samuel 2, verse 4, and then over the entire nation of Israel in 2 Samuel 5, verse 3. And it had been about 9 years since Samuel told Saul that the Lord rejected him as king and would be anointing a replacement for him. That was in 1 Samuel 15, verses 26 through 28. Samuel said unto Saul, I will not return with thee, for thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, and the Lord hath rejected thee from being king over Israel. Verse 28, and Samuel said unto him, the Lord hath rent the kingdom of Israel from thee this day, and hath given it to a neighbor of thine that is better than thou. So 9 years have passed since that time. But certainly Saul was very aware of this, okay, and knew that as Samuel would come and go to places, there was always the potential he was going someplace to anoint his successor who was not of his seed. And Saul, being the king, being jealous for that throne, could very easily go and find out who Samuel had anointed and execute them. He could do that. So that threat, that cloud of threat and violence hung over Samuel, frankly, and anybody else who might come into the knowledge of that. But the time had arrived. The time had arrived, and so the Lord directs Samuel to go to Bethlehem to anoint the future king from among the sons of David. And Samuel was concerned that Saul would kill him if he found out he came to Bethlehem. But he obeyed and went anyway. 1 Samuel 16, the Lord said unto Samuel, how long wilt thou mourn for Saul, seeing I have rejected him from reigning over Israel? Fill thine horn with oil, and go. I will send thee to Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I have provided me a king among his sons. And Samuel said, how can I go? If Saul hear it, he'll kill me. And the Lord said, take an heifer with thee, and say, I am come to sacrifice to the Lord. Verse 4, Samuel did that which the Lord spake, and came to Bethlehem. Okay, so Samuel comes to Bethlehem, and he proceeds to call Jesse and all, note that, all his sons to the sacrifice. But as we saw earlier, Jesse only introduces 7 of his sons to Samuel, intentionally excluding David. 1 Samuel 16, verses 5 through 8. So he sanctifies Jesse and his sons and calls them to the sacrifice. Verse 6, it came to pass when they were come that he looked on Eliab, so he's the first as the eldest, passing before Samuel, and says, surely the Lord's anointed is before him. But the Lord said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as man seeth. For man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. Then Jesse called Abinadab and made him pass before Samuel. And he said, neither hath the Lord chosen this. Verse 9, then Jesse made Shammah to pass by, and he said, neither hath the Lord chosen this. Verse 10, again Jesse made 7 of his sons to pass before Samuel. So all 6 of his other begotten sons, and the 7th one whom he had adopted. And Samuel said to Jesse, the Lord hath not chosen these. The fact that Jesse did not include David in these introductions is a reflection, I believe, of how David was regarded within the family. He was an afterthought. He really was. When Jesse informed Samuel that he excluded his youngest son, Samuel directed him to bring him before him. Verse 11. Jesse says that there remaineth yet the youngest, and behold, he keepeth the sheep. And Samuel said to Jesse, send and fetch him, for we will not sit down till he come hither. So he goes in and brings David. And of course, the rest is history. The Lord confirms to Samuel that David is the one that he's chosen to be king. So Samuel anoints him in front of everyone that was present. 1 Samuel 16, verse 12 and 13. He sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy and withal of a beautiful countenance, goodly to look to. And the Lord said, Arise, anoint him, for this is he. And Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brethren. And the Spirit of the Lord came upon David from that day forward. So Samuel rose up and went to Ramah. So let me just interject something here. This is a very exciting experience, a very positive experience for young David. But even though it is all that, it is a life-changing experience. And if you remember, in the clinical part of our study, we mentioned in our definition of trauma that trauma does apply to life-changing experiences, even if they're positive. It's traumatic. It can have an impact on you that is negative down the road because it was life-changing. David is about 15 or 16 years old at this time, so not fully mature to absorb and understand what's happening to him here. Very easy for this to cause one's pride to swell and as well. His father Jesse and his brothers must have been shocked by what they witnessed. We don't know if his sisters were also present, but everyone that was present would have been shocked. In fact, they might even have thought Samuel was making a mistake, but he wasn't. Jesse, his father, also had to be concerned that if word got to King Saul that Samuel had anointed David, that he'd have David killed and probably the entire family, wouldn't he? And in light of that likelihood, I believe that Jesse and probably even Samuel himself committed David and all of his brothers and the sisters too, if the sisters had witnessed this, had to commit them to a vow of silence. You don't talk about this, not a word of this, to anyone at any time under any set of circumstances. Especially since we know from verse number 4 the town elders had witnessed Samuel's arrival to Bethlehem. So suspicion at the very least would be cast upon the events of this day. Now, about the same time that David's anointed and the Spirit of the Lord comes upon him, the Spirit of the Lord is departing from King Saul, and an evil spirit begins to oppress him. That's in 1 Samuel 16:14. But the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul, and an evil spirit from the Lord troubled him. And because of that, it wasn't long thereafter that Jesse was invited by a messenger from the house of Saul who served him a subpoena to have David brought to the palace to play his harp before the king. So we don't know how much time elapses, but it's not much. And we don't know exactly how Saul hears that the house of Saul heard that David could play the harp so well. But he hears about it and sends a messenger and serves Jesse with a subpoena to have David brought to the palace to play the harp for the king. So whenever Saul's oppressed by this evil spirit, David plays the harp. He very well may have played some of the psalms that he had written by this time. And as a result, the evil spirit departed from him. We know this from 1 Samuel 16, verses 16 through 23. Now, this was a temporary arrangement. We know that because when the evil spirit departed from Saul, in 1 Samuel 17:15, David returns to his father's house to tend the sheep. 1 Samuel 17:15, but David went and returned from Saul to feed his father's sheep at Bethlehem. It was during this time that the Philistines began gathering to war against Israel, the valley of Elah. Goliath comes forth defying the armies of Israel and the God of Israel in 1 Samuel 17, verses 1 through 11. And after David did return home, his father Jesse sends him to the front lines, as we mentioned earlier, with provisions for his 3 brothers who served in the army. That's in verse 15 through 20. When David arrived and was talking with his brethren, he overhears Goliath defying the armies of Israel and the God of Israel. And he asks what would be done to the man who would kill Goliath. And that's when David's oldest brother Eliab overhears him and falsely accuses him of having these negative ulterior motives for coming to the front lines. But David insists. David insists that he's sincere in what he's asking and calls for Goliath to be slain for his defiance. There in 1 Samuel 17, verses 28 through 30. Now, David expresses his willingness to confront Goliath, to go to battle against him. And eventually he's brought before King Saul and offers to fight against Goliath in verses 31 and 32. Now, Saul obviously refuses at first, and he should. But ultimately he relents and gives David approval to fight Goliath, which is an astounding thing if you think about it. If you or I were alive at the time and present to witness this, we'd be like, Your Majesty, what are you doing? That's a 15, 16-year-old boy. You're sending him to his death. Why are you doing that? No matter how convincing he is, why are you doing that? And of course, you know the story. David was unable to wear any of the armor that was provided him, so he goes out to battle with nothing but his staff, his sling, and a scrip containing 5 smooth stones. And as he goes out to meet Goliath, he doesn't appear to express any fear whatsoever. Those appearances are deceiving, okay? Just because he doesn't appear to be afraid doesn't mean he wasn't afraid, okay? Courage is doing the right thing and acting in spite of fear. And some people have such great courage, you never know that they were afraid on the inside. We're not told that David was afraid on the inside, but we're not told he wasn't. I would think that anybody with red blood in their veins would take a look at a 9.5-foot man and be afraid. That initial rush of fear would come upon you. But David, of course, looked back at his experience with the lion and the bear. I mean, what would be more frightening, confronting a 9-foot man or a lion and a bear? A lion and a bear might seem relatively small compared to a 9-foot man, but that 9-foot man doesn't have the claws and the teeth of a bear or a lion either, okay? And yet David fought those beasts, and because the Lord was with him, he killed those beasts. As a youth, we don't know how old he was when he had those encounters, but he certainly was no older than 15 or 16. So that gave him faith. He truly believed that since the Lord was with him, he could defeat Goliath just as he defeated the lion and the bear. Verse 37, the Lord that delivered me out of the paw of the lion, out of the paw of the bear, he will deliver me out of the hand of this Philistine. He truly believed that. Okay? Again, you know the story. He killed Goliath. He killed him with just one stone, one shot. One shot's all it took, because God was in that thing. And then he took Goliath's own sword and decapitated him and brought his head to Saul. And even though this also had a very positive and exciting outcome for David, had to be a very traumatic experience, because what happens now here in the wrapping up 1 Samuel 17, going into chapter 18, is David goes from lowly family shepherd and outcast among his own brethren to a national hero in one day. Just like that. That's a lot for a young man to handle. That's a lot for anyone to handle, much less a teenage boy. But by virtue of his miraculous victory over Goliath, Saul's oldest son and heir to the throne, Jonathan, knew that David was the one the Lord had chosen to give the kingdom to Israel. He knew it. He absolutely knew it. Jonathan had to be aware of what Samuel had said to Saul back in 1 Samuel 15. So Jonathan knew that the likelihood was that there was somebody out there who was going to replace him as the successor to Saul on the throne, and that the replacement could be coming at any moment. And Jonathan, when he witnessed what David did with Goliath, he knew this was the man. This is the one. And Jonathan didn't express any hatred or animosity, resentment, jealousy, any of that towards David. In fact, he embraced him and endeared him to himself, which is an amazing thing. He gives David his robe and his sword, the robe and sword of the crown prince. And why did he do that? Because he truly believed and accepted that David was going to be king. Jonathan, again, totally endeared to him and becomes his closest friend, his best friend, a friend that sticketh closer than a brother, if you will. 1 Samuel 18, verse 4, and Jonathan stripped himself of the robe that was upon him, gave it to David, and his garments, even to his sword, and to his bow, and to his girdle. Just an amazing thing there. And he becomes his best friend. Now, Saul took David into his household after this and set him over his men of war. That's in 1 Samuel 18:5. And even though Jonathan fully believes David is going to be the king, it doesn't appear that Saul suspected, much less identified David as such at this point. It's not until he hears women giving David more praise than himself in 1 Samuel 18, verse 7 through 8, that he now suspects and is convinced that David's the one and starts eyeing him from that day forward. It's also the time when the evil spirit returns to oppress him. 1 Samuel 18, verse 9 through 10. And it's this evil spirit that drives Saul to try to kill David by casting a javelin at him in 1 Samuel 18:11, the first of at least 2 times that Saul tries to kill David in this manner. 1 Samuel 18, verse 11, and Saul cast the javelin, for he said, I will smite David even to the wall with it. And David avoided out of his presence twice. So the implication there meaning that he tried to do it at least 2 times. We see another effort here in 1 Samuel 19, verse 9 and 10. The evil spirit from the Lord was upon Saul as he sat in his house with his javelin in his hand, and David played with his hand. And Saul sought to smite David even to the wall with the javelin. But he slipped away out of Saul's presence, and he smote the javelin into the wall. And David fled and escaped that night. So let's stop right here. And even though we've not seen any indication yet that David is struggling with or beginning to show signs of depression, we'll see obviously that he does. He is going to struggle with depression later on. But we can already call a source of his depression as fear. David now, from this time forward, is in fear of his life whenever Saul's around. Saul is committed to killing David. So a source of depression, as we've seen time and again already, is fear, specifically a fear of dying, a fear of death. Okay? A very prominent source of depression. Getting back now to the fact that he tried to kill David repeatedly, and this is over a 10-year period of time. I was looking for the dates here. 1070 to 1060 BC. Yeah, 10-year period of time. He's repeatedly trying to kill David. He tried to have him killed in battle against the Philistines. Okay, that's another occasion. He did that by requiring David to bring him 100 foreskins of the Philistines as, I guess, in lieu of a dowry to marry his daughter Michal. There was another occasion in which he sent assassins disguised as messengers to kill him. But David's wife Michal tipped him off and helped him escape. That's in 1 Samuel 19, verse 11 through 17. That other instance where Saul required 100 foreskins is 1 Samuel 18:25, if you're taking notes on that. Then we have the times where David was forced to flee from his home and live as a fugitive, taking refuge in various places, including the wilderness, caves, and forests, fleeing for his life from Saul. Yeah. So numerous times Saul tried to kill David. Speaking of Michal, since we mentioned her, at some point after David was forced to flee and live as a fugitive, Saul took David's wife Michal, which is Saul's youngest daughter, and gave her to a man named Phalti of Gallim to be his wife. And I believe that it was during his flights from Saul and living as a fugitive that's when David began manifesting symptoms of depression. So again, a source of depression is fear of death. And all throughout these years of extreme distress, getting back to Jonathan now, Jonathan defends David. He defends him before his father, and he's a constant source of support and encouragement to him. 1 Samuel 20, verse 3 and 4. And David sware moreover and said, Thy father certainly knoweth that I have found grace in thine eyes. And he saith, Let not Jonathan know this, lest he be grieved, but truly as the Lord liveth and as thy soul liveth, there is but a step between me and death. David knew that I'm this close to dying. Your father's going to eventually get to me. Then said Jonathan unto David, Whatsoever thy soul desireth, I will even do it for thee. Whatever you want, David. 1 Samuel 23, verse 16 through 18. Jonathan, Saul's son, arose and went to David into the wood and strengthened his hand in God. And said unto him, Fear not, for the hand of Saul my father shall not find thee, and thou shalt be king over Israel. There's the confession. You're going to be king. And I shall be next unto thee, and that also Saul my father knoweth. And they two made a covenant before the Lord, and David abode in the wood. Jonathan went to his house. Amazing, isn't it? And so what we see here is a solution for depression. David's going to start manifesting these symptoms of depression during these flights for his life from Saul. And yet a solution for that depression is the necessary physical, emotional, and spiritual support from our loved ones. And in this case, for David, Jonathan's support means everything. Jonathan is, his love for him, it said, surpassed the love of women. Their love for each other as friends, they weren't homosexuals, as friends, was so deep and so committed. Okay? It's like the love that Christ has for you and me. And Christ's love for you and me, we can look at it from two different aspects. One, as a bridegroom to the bride, because that's what we are, yes. But also as a friend is to a friend. Because we're told in Proverbs 17:24, there's a friend that sticketh closer than a brother. I'm sorry, Proverbs 18:24. There's a friend that sticketh closer than a brother. That's Jesus. That's Jesus. Okay? So a solution for depression is to receive necessary physical, emotional, and spiritual support. In spite of all this support, David continues to experience tremendous hardships and affliction during his time in flight from Saul. Numerous examples of this. The next one chronologically we come to is in 1 Samuel 21, where he comes to the priestly city of Nob, where he requests and receives aid from Ahimelech the priest there in the form of old showbread, and he's also given the sword of Goliath. Unfortunately, Doeg the Edomite, a servant of Saul, a herdman, was also there and witnessed the whole thing. He witnessed Ahimelech the high priest helping David. That's in 1 Samuel 21, verses 1 through 9. Okay? David had numerous lapses of faith as well. He fled to Achish, king of Gath. Yes, Gath, the same country that Goliath was from. So David is fleeing to the enemy of Israel. He did this on two separate occasions. 1 Samuel 21, verses 10 through 15, And then again in 1 Samuel 27, verses 1 through 12, we have part of that scripture on the screen right now. We'll come to that in just a moment. But what it shows is that a believer can get so low that they turn to the enemy for refuge. For us, our enemies are the world, the flesh, and the devil. So in this regard, the Philistines and Achish, king of Gath, would represent the world. And so suffering from depression, we're not thinking right most of the time. And if we think that we can find safety and refuge in the world, we're sadly mistaken. The first time David fled to Achish, he had the sword of Goliath of Gath as potential collateral, that he wasn't there as a threat. He truly was seeking sanctuary. He even at this first instance pretended to be a madman, but Achish rejected him. That's in 1 Samuel 21, 10 through 15. Being rejected, David then flees to the cave at Adullam, where his family met him, as well as everyone that was in distress, in debt, and discontented, as it says in 1 Samuel 22, verse 1 through 2. Truly, misery loves company, and that's the way it was in David's camp. That's when David went to the king of Moab, by the way, a reference we mentioned at the beginning of our lesson, and secured asylum for his father and his mother while he remained a fugitive from Saul. That's in 1 Samuel 22, verses 3 and 4. Even though Saul continued to try to kill David, he's hunting him down like a dog, David was always able to escape out of Saul's hands. And because of this, Saul accused his own servants of conspiring with David in some way. And it's at this point where Doeg the Edomite that we mentioned earlier, who had witnessed Ahimelech the priest helping David by giving him victuals, provisions, as well as the sword of Goliath, it's at this point where Doeg tells Saul about what he witnessed. But he also lied about what he said he saw, because he tells Saul that Ahimelech inquired of the Lord for David, which of course he did not do. But because of that allegation, Saul calls for Ahimelech and all the priests at Nob and accuses them of conspiring to commit sedition. And so Saul has Doeg the Edomite kill Ahimelech and 84 other priests. And then Doeg smites the entire city of Nob so that only Abiathar, one of the sons of Ahimelech, escapes. That's in 1 Samuel 22, verse 9 through 23. So a slaughter of the entire priesthood is made. And David knows that that's on me. That's on me. I saw Doeg the Edomite there, and I knew he was going to tell Saul. And he did nothing about it. Then David was betrayed by the inhabitants of Keilah, when, after he had delivered them from the Philistines, they intended on delivering David to Saul. 1 Samuel 23, verses 1 through 12. That forced David to flee into the wilderness of Ziph, then to the wilderness of Maon, then to the wilderness of Engedi. That's in 1 Samuel 23. All of that. It was in the cave in the wilderness of Engedi where David had the first of 2 occasions to slay Saul, but he refused. Saul had retired to the cave to, let's just delicately say, to do his personal business. Okay? When David cut off the skirt of his robe. That's in 1 Samuel 24, verses 1 through 6. And when Saul left the cave, David came out and revealed himself to Saul, showed him the skirt of the robe, and declared that, I could have killed you, but I didn't. And then he appealed to Saul to stop seeking his life. Saul was humbled by this and acknowledged that David would be king. 1 Samuel 24, verse 20. I think we need to go back and get that verse. There it is, right there. 1 Samuel 24, 20. So we've seen Jonathan confess that he knows David's going to be king. Now Saul confesses it himself. He says, Now behold, I know well that thou shalt surely be king, and that the kingdom of Israel shall be established in thine hand. He knew it. So he convinces David to vow not to cut off his seed after him. And they both go their separate ways there, as 1 Samuel 24, verse 21 through 22 states. So it appears that Saul and David make peace at this point. But David doesn't return home. What happens? Well, the next thing that we're told that happens is Samuel dies. And David goes into the wilderness of Paran, where he and his men provide security for the shepherds of a rich man named Nabal. 1 Samuel 25, verses 1 through 2. Nabal refuses to give David's men provisions for their unsolicited protection of his servants and proceeds to insult David in the process. That's in 1 Samuel 25, verse 3 through 22. And if it wasn't for the intercession of Nabal's wonderful wife Abigail, David would have killed Nabal. But the Lord ends up smiting Nabal that he dies, and after that, David takes Abigail for his wife. That's in 1 Samuel 25, verse 36 through 44. Well, once again, David flees into the wilderness of Ziph, where he now has the second occasion to kill Saul, but spares him. This is in 1 Samuel 26. The circumstances underlying this are David and Abishai go down into the trench where Saul and his men were sleeping. And instead of killing Saul, David takes Saul's spear and his cruse of water. David then goes to the other side of the hill and calls out to reveal himself to Saul, as well as to the captain of his army there, Abner. And that's in 1 Samuel 26, verse 13 through 15. And David shows the king's spear and his cruse of water and declares that he had opportunity to kill Saul but refused. And he once again, just like the first time, appeals to Saul to stop trying to kill him. And when Saul consented, they again go their separate ways. So just as the first time in 1 Samuel 24, it appears David and Saul make peace, but David doesn't return home. He has another lapse of faith. And that brings us to 1 Samuel 27. And the second time that David goes to the world, if you will, for refuge. Even though he appears to have made peace with Saul, and Saul's committed to no longer pursuing his life, David still goes to Achish, king of Gath. An amazing thing. He says in verse number 1, I shall now perish one day by the hand of Saul. There is nothing better for me than that I should speedily escape into the land of the Philistines, and Saul shall despair of me, to seek me any more in any coast of Israel, so shall I escape out of his hand. So we're not told that David was suffering from depression here or anxiety, but man, it sure sounds like it, doesn't it? In the context of making the peace that he did with Saul at the end of chapter 26, there is absolutely nothing to suggest that David would be justified in thinking this way and to be so urgent about it. He felt he had to speedily escape into the land of the Philistines. So not only was he wrong in where he was seeking refuge, he was wrong as far as the urgency of it. Saul had no intention on pursuing David anymore, much less to urgently pursue after him. So this absolutely not just a case of paranoia. David is suffering from depression. Everything that he's experienced, all the fear, all of that and the distress is just coming down on him. He has this respite in his flight. He has the opportunity to return home, but in the midst of that respite, that burden, that weight is just collapsing in on him. He failed to give it to the Lord, I believe. And so verse 2 says, David arose and he passed over with 600 men that were with him unto Achish, the son of Maoch, king of Gath. And David dwelt with Achish at Gath, he and his men, every man with his household, even David with his 2 wives, Ahinoam the Jezreelitess, and Abigail the Carmelitess, Nabal's wife. And it was told Saul that David was fled to Gath, and he sought no more again for him. Look at verse 7 of 1 Samuel 27. Of 1 Samuel 27. And the time that David dwelt in the country of the Philistines was a full year. 4 months. 16 months in the world seeking peace and refuge. Not gonna work, is it? David got to the point where he believed it was inevitable he'd be killed by Saul. Even though he knew that the Lord had anointed him to be king and confirmed it on 3 separate occasions. We saw that Jonathan, his best friend, confirmed it, 1 Samuel 23:17. His enemy, King Saul, confirmed it, 1 Samuel 24:20. And what we didn't specifically call out, but it's in the text in 1 Samuel 25:30, it's also confirmed by his future wife at the time, Abigail. So this complete change in attitude and mood to one of despair was due to fear, and I believe a reflection of a case of depression. So once again, we see a source of depression is fear. We know this. But we also can add to this, because in spite of the Lord delivering David time and again from Saul's efforts to kill him, David allows this spirit of fear to overwhelm him, to overcome him. And verse number 1 of 1 Samuel 27 is not only an expression, or a reflection, I should say, of a case of depression, but specifically the symptom of a deep sense of hopelessness. He says, undoubtedly, I'm going to die at the hand of Saul one day. That's a deep sense of hopelessness. And what's he do? He flees. He flees further now. He's been on the run. He's already fled from his home. And now he's fleeing Israel altogether for Gath. So another symptom of depression is withdrawal. It's withdrawal. And in his depression, David didn't withdraw internally as many do, but externally. And that's a bad thing to do. And he withdrew to the last place God's people should resort, the camp of the enemy. He didn't withdraw by himself either. He took his 2 wives, 600 men and their families with him, as we read. And so what we learn from that is too many who become depressed withdraw from their personal devotions and from church, and they turn to the world. But they take their family members along that ride with them and take them out of church and them into the world. Because none of us liveth to himself, and no man dieth to himself. If they specifically turn to addictive substances like drugs or alcohol, then their family members again are unwillingly dragged along. Now David, as we saw, remained in this depressed state for 16 months. And things got to the point where Achish, the king of the Philistines, who, by the way, is a type of the devil, the king of this world, came to the point where Achish believed David would be his servant forever. Forever. Yeah, that's in 1 Samuel 27 and verse number 12. When things got to the point where Achish was going to take David with him into battle against Saul and Israel, the Lord intervened and prevented David from fighting against them. That's in 1 Samuel 28 verses 1 and 2 and 1 Samuel 29 verses 1 and 2. Because when the other lords of the Philistines saw David, they refused to take him into battle with them. And so Achish gave him leave. And that's when David and his men returned to Ziklag, where they'd been encamped, and discovered that the Amalekites had invaded the city, burnt it with fire, and took their wives and children captive. That's in 1 Samuel 30, verses 1 and 3 through 5. So let's take a look at that scripture, shall we? And it came to pass when David and his men were come to Ziklag on the 3rd day that the Amalekites had invaded the south and Ziklag, and smitten Ziklag, and burnt it with fire. So David and his men came to the city, and behold, it was burned with fire, and their wives and their sons and their daughters were taken captives. Then David and the people that were with him lifted up their voice and wept, until they had no more power to weep. And David's 2 wives were taken captives, Ahinoam the Jezreelitess, and Abigail, the wife of Nabal the Carmelite. Now the people had become so grieved by their losses, and because they blamed David for all of it, they considered killing him. And David became greatly distressed over these circumstances. Any of us would. But he encouraged himself in the Lord. So this is something that could have broken David. Remember, he's been in a state of depression for 16 months. This could have broken him, but it didn't. He encouraged himself in the Lord. 1 Samuel 30, verse 6, and David was greatly distressed. Why? For the people spake of stoning him. So once again, fear of death. So the depression is really starting to come back. It's rearing its ugly head, because the soul of all the people was grieved, every man for his sons and for his daughters. But David encouraged himself in the Lord his God. Yeah, he could have broken down at this point, but he didn't. He didn't. So he learned something in those 16 months. So we see here a source of depression is trauma, personal loss. Their wives, their children have been taken captive. Their possessions have been spoiled. We see, though, again, another source of depression is fear of death, fear of dying. They're speaking of stoning David. But we see a solution for depression is, and I'm going to term it remembering the Lord. I know the text says that David encouraged himself in the Lord, but folks, any encouragement of ourselves or others in the Lord is going to be because we base that encouragement on recalling the Lord's person. In other words, his grace, his mercy, his love that he's demonstrated to us in the past, or his power. The fact that he has delivered us time and time again from this and from that, or his promises. The fact that he says, I will do this, I will do that. So remembering the Lord, his person, his power, his promises. David prayed and asked the Lord whether he should pursue the Amalekites, and the Lord told him to pursue and promised him he would recover all. That's exactly what happened. 1 Samuel 30, verse 7 and 8, David tells Abiathar to bring the ephod, and David inquires at the Lord through that ephod. And the Lord tells him to pursue the Amalekites. End of the verse of verse number 8, for thou shalt surely overtake them, and without fail recover all. So here we learn that a solution for depression is prayer. And another solution for depression is the Word of God. We've seen this repeatedly. Now, I say the Word of God. We saw that David inquired of the Lord. That's prayer. But he's inquiring at the ephod. And the ephod at this point in time was a form of divine revelation. Well, we don't have those forms of divine revelation today because we have the complete revelation in the Scriptures, the Word of God. So when we inquire of the Lord, Lord, should I or should I not? We're praying that prayer and looking for an answer from the Word of God, from the Bible, whether through our reading of it, our hearing it preached, our hearing it taught, hearing it sung, hearing it testified. We're looking for an answer from the Word of God. The will of God is revealed in the Word of God. So David and his 600 men pursue after the Amalekites. 1/3 of them become so tired and weak that they have to stay by the brook Besor, while the other 2/3 or 400 of them continue with David in pursuit of the Amalekites. That's in 1 Samuel 30, verses 9 through 10. Okay? And we have up there on the screen right now. We're going to have to wrap this up, folks. I'm trying to hurry. David and his men smote the Amalekites, recovered all that the Amalekites took from them, just as the Lord promised. See, at the end of verse 19, David recovered all. Okay? It's on the 3rd day, though, after the slaughter of the Amalekites, that an Amalekite comes to Ziklag to inform David of the death of Saul and Jonathan. That's recorded in 2 Samuel 1, verses 1 through 5. And he provides testimony on how he knew they were dead. That included his slaying a dying Saul to alleviate his suffering. And he proceeds to present David with Saul's crown and bracelet as evidence, and also in hope of receiving a reward from David for it. David had the Amalekites slain for thinking that he would rejoice over Saul's death and for thinking that he would reward him for killing him. That's in 2 Samuel 1, verses 13 through 16. What David did over hearing about the death of Jonathan and Saul is he mourned, he wept, and he fasted, and made a great lamentation over them. 2 Samuel 1, verses 11 and 12 and 17, where it says the following: Then David took hold on his clothes and rent them, and likewise all the men that were with him. And they mourned and wept and fasted until even, for Saul and for Jonathan his son, and for the people of the Lord, and for the house of Israel, because they were fallen by the sword. And David lamented with this lamentation over Saul and over Jonathan his son. Yeah, great lamentation. He was especially distressed over the death of his best friend Jonathan. Verse 26, I am distressed for thee, my brother Jonathan. Very pleasant hast thou been unto me. Thy love to me was wonderful, passing the love of women. So this word distressed is a indication that David's struggling with depression again, and the source is trauma, personal loss. Here it's not just Saul, but it's particularly the death of Jonathan, his greatest supporter, his greatest friend. Now, with the death of Saul and Jonathan, David had every reason to believe that 14 years now after Samuel anointed him to be king, that the time had come for him to finally be king over Israel, right? Now, while the men of Judah did take him to Hebron and anoint him king over the house of Judah, in 2 Samuel 2, verses 1 through 4, Abner, the captain of Saul's army, made Saul's son Ishbosheth king over Israel. And that's where we're going to have to stop our history of David today. Didn't get as far as I thought we would, so this is definitely going to be longer than I thought. We'll have 2 parts to David's background story, and it's necessary. Again, we just want to highlight that. Getting back to a more personal thing, personal application. If you ever get to the point where psychotherapy is required as part of your recovery process, when you sit down with the clinician, they're going to ask you questions about your background. And you need to open up to them and be honest and complete in your responses. Because just as we're going through the time and the effort to give you everything we believe is vital to understanding why David developed a problem with struggling with depression. His backstory tells us so much, and his ongoing struggles and experiences, okay? So that psychotherapist needs to have a thorough understanding of your background. So they're going to ask you those open-ended questions, and you need to give them honest, complete responses. Now, I say all that to say, make sure that if you need to consult with a clinician, that you're getting somebody who's a Christian, someone you can trust. Because the Christian therapist is going to understand that there's more to your recovery and your treatment than just psychotherapy, and certainly more to it than prescription drugs if it comes to a need to prescribe medication as well. That there is a spiritual side. So find someone who's a Christian therapist, someone you can trust. But as you undergo those therapy sessions, be open, be honest, and be complete with them. They're there to help you. Okay? All right. Our time has come and gone. We're going to have to call it there. And we'll have a word of prayer as we close. If you've never trusted the Lord Jesus Christ as your personal Savior, if you believe that you're a lost sinner and that Jesus Christ died for your sins and rose again the 3rd day, if you're willing to ask the Lord to forgive you of your sins, put your faith and trust in Him as your Savior, ask Him to save you, He will. He'll do that. For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in Him should not perish but have everlasting life. For whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. Amen. So you do that if indeed the Lord is leading you to do that at this time. And at the end of the next session, we'll actually go through that sinner's prayer with you if indeed you're with us at that time. So let's close in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the time we've had to study here tonight. And we just pray that you add your blessing to the word of God that's been spoken. We pray, Lord, as we lay this historical and background information on David, that it becomes clear to all those listening how David got to where he got in struggling with depression. But that we also see, Lord, how you were there time and again, every time, to help your child, to help your servant through it all, that you're a very present help in trouble. And that where David failed, we don't have to, Lord. We can learn from his mistakes. Help us to do that by the grace of God. And we ask it in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, folks. With that, we love you. We're praying for you. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.